Guys, this is the second part to this video because my phone died and I couldn't get to the charger fast enough. Anyway, where I left off was I didn't like the way that the cam cover and actually the camshaft looked a little scraped up too. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the carb cams because they're the same size. Intake to intake and exhaust to exhaust. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to use the cams out of the carbureted head and the head studs, just because the other head studs I've already torqued them down a few times. So these supposedly only been from the factory that one time. So I'm just going to use these instead. Anyway. Oh yeah, just so you guys know, these cylinder heads do have shims on the inside of them. So whenever you take it off, don't go to tossing and turning with it. The little buckets on the inside of it that cover the valves, they will fall out, and there's a little shim up under that bucket that will come out also. It could get lodged up inside the engine. It's a really small circular item that goes up under that bucket that creates the clearance for the camshafts. And if you get those wrong, if you think that you're just gonna just put them in there anywhere, it's not gonna work like that. They're all certain heights, thicknesses. So you need to be careful whenever you're taking the cylinder heads off. A lot of motorcycles have this stuff. Some of you guys know that. And for the ones that's interested in doing stuff like this, yeah. Always be careful when you take the cylinder head off. Parts that fall out and you don't know how it goes back together, it'll never work right. Also, when you do the EFI swap, just know that there's going to be one sensor. Say like if you do just a regular standard electrical system, and you're converting all of that stuff over anyway. So what happened is I don't know if that's a knock sensor or something. Anyway, down here on the side of the block, on the EFI models, there's another sensor over here. I don't know. I think it's a knock sensor. I could be wrong. But anyway, whenever you do that swap, you won't have that option. So that connector just be there. Until I had a knock sensor or whatever that sensor is laying around, and all I did was plug it up to it, and it's just laying there. So. Missing a bolt. But the other camshafts, if I needed to use it in a tight pinch, I still could, no problem. It would probably last pretty good while, a year, couple years, hell, 4 or 5 years. But anyway, then also whenever you put your cylinder head on, make sure that you get your timing chain out the way and your guides out the way, because it's a pain in the butt to get them put on. Or they otherwise, chase them through the cylinder head while you're trying to put it on. It's kind of aggravating. So I just had a piece of hose laying around anywhere, so I just picked it up, and that's what's holding my chain. Alright, I'm going to start getting these head bolts torqued down. Once I get through with that, I'll get back with you guys whenever I start installing the cams. Also, make sure that you put assembly lube back on your nice clean parts, dry parts. Make sure everything's good and lubed up. Because it's going to take a minute for this stuff to get the actual oil that it needs that's in the oil pan. So yeah, make sure you get something like that and make sure it's nice and lubricated. Oh yeah, one more thing. I forgot to mention that if you don't change this timing gear out, you know what, I may have, but just in case I didn't, the timing gear for the carb model. Anyway, down here, you need to change it to the EFI timing gear. The EFI timing gear has teeth all the way around it, and the carb timing gear, it's like missing, like, I don't know, four four teeth or something like that. But yeah, make sure to change that, because if you don't, it's not gonna run. Also, I was just looking at in the manual, but it calls for, well, for the car models, it's like 65 or 67 newton meters, and then for the EFI models, it's 69 newton meters, and that translates to like 50, like right there at 51 foot pounds. That seems a little low. I want to say I went to 70 on mine before. I could be wrong, but it's just odd, you know. Like I don't know. It don't sound right. I don't want to say I really did go to 70, but man, I torqued the crap out of those head bolts if I did. All right, I'm about to start torquing, and I'll get back with you guys in a little bit. All right, so I did it right whenever I took it apart. So the book says do the exhaust side first, um, and then the intake with 12 newton meters. It's not a whole lot. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get your exhaust camshaft in there, get it level. I said get it level. I'm sorry. Get it flush with the surface, and then you're gonna tighten down the holder or the camshaft cover to that camshaft, and then you'll do the same thing for the intake. You'll slide the intake into that. This is where it's gonna get tricky at. So whenever you start putting the intake camshaft in here with that sprocket with that timing chain wrapped around it, it's gonna be tight and it's gonna be aggravating. And then you're gonna have to finesse it a little bit here and there. So let's get to it. All right, exhaust. So my exhaust. So, and then whenever you put this new thing on here, this right here is gonna be your mark that you go by. Yep. So this is where it's gonna get aggravating. I lied. I said it. The intake was gonna be aggravating. No, I forgot. No, the whole thing's gonna be aggravating. So, some of these dials are still in here, and I got to get them out. Wasn't too bad. I almost forgot to lube up the top of the holder. Oh man! Tell you what, I just put it on the camshaft. Can't go wrong like that, right? Alright, here's the fun part. Alright, so whenever we took them out, we went from 10 to 1. Now we're gonna go 1 to 10. A little bit on each one. This is where it's gonna start putting pressure on it. And you may have to do this a few times until your cam gear gets flush with the surface of this cylinder head. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. You guys get the idea. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. I know it sounds like I'm getting down on it, but I'm really not. I still got a gap everywhere. And I think the camshaft rotated. Alright, let's see. Alright, 1 minute. Alright, I finally got the camshafts in and timed. Their marks are flush with the the surface of the cylinder head. And so the trick was you have to hold the timing chain when you're installing the exhaust camshaft. So you need to hold that chain while you're locking this camshaft down. All right, once you do that, then like I said, you got to mess with the intake and you gotta put it in the gear and kind of roll it into place. And it took me 2 times, but I got it. So now I'm torquing down the bolts. It's 12 millimeters. I think I stopped on 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Need an extension for that. Well, I'm gonna end it there. Got a lot done with this engine. Got some wiring done to it. The boots are too cold to get on there right now, so I'm gonna let those warm up and push the throttle bodies on there. Got some hoses on there. Yeah, there's some sensors on there. But that's gonna be it for right now. Really, I just been cleaning surfaces, getting this old gasket off, and trying to get the new gaskets on. It's been a pain. But anyway, pretty much worked through that night, getting this mess situated. But anyway, that's gonna be it. I'll try to get something done with this one tomorrow, or today rather. Get the new fairings on it. And then hopefully they call me about my ZX12. Go pick it up and start getting some things done with it. Alright, well, holla at y'all. Take it easy.